Hey everybody, what is going on? It's me, Mr. Krieger, from my at-home classroom in my basement. This is the first day of the 2020-21 school year. Welcome to Social Studies. This class is 8th grade Global Studies. Oftentimes it can be called 8th grade Geography, but we are calling what it actually is Global Studies. So today is not going to be a lot about what the class is. Today I want to give you a chance to get to know me. Today is Tuesday. It's September 8th. Want to get that clear. Tomorrow, I'm going to do some things to get to know you. And then on Thursday, we'll have the video that's talking about what the class specifically is. As we go here, let's state the obvious. This year is going to be very different from what we've done prior. Very, very different. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that, and that you understand that there's going to be bumps in the roads. This distance learning plus hybrid, we are going to just keep working at it till we get better and better. It's going to evolve and we're going to grow and learn. But I can't tell you how honored I am to be your teacher, to be a part of the SHPA staff, and to have a chance to work with you and get to know you. Get to know you. Today you're getting to know me. Tomorrow I can't wait to get to know you. So a few things. This is my email. This is super important. It is Kyle Krieger at shpamn.org. There is a Kathy Krieger at the BC campus. So if you use K Krieger, you will get her. Last year, I got like 25 emails from her that were supposed to go to me. So make sure you remember that this is my email. That's my email. All right. I have an Instagram that's specifically dedicated to my teaching and a few other things that is open to parents and to students. I will post some videos, thoughts, do Instagram lives. It's just another place for me to connect with you digitally it's Kyle Krieger. Now, if you want to call and leave me a message, even though I'm not on campus, when I get a message to my phone that would have been in my classroom, it will come to my email. I can respond to you that way. So just call the school and use extension 155. That'll get you a direct line to my message machine, and that will come to me through my email. So just a few of those things. So again, make sure you're careful with my email. Just putting KYLE in the bar above, and it should, if you're on your SHPA account, automatically pull me up. So, all right, cool. All right, so as we're getting to know me this year, I just, maybe you're asking, what's Mr. K been up to? Well, thank you. Thank you for asking. I do appreciate you asking me what I've been up to, because that's what we would have been talking about if we were on campus today. So here's what I've been up to. I'm just going to start kind of upper left-hand corner. That is me at a roller skating rink. We had a couple really fun birthday parties for my nephews this summer. I have a 5-year-old nephew, Beckett. I have a 3-year-old nephew, Wyatt. I have a 1-year-old niece named Julia. And I have an almost 1-year-old niece named Merritt. So Beckett, Wyatt, and Merritt are siblings, and Jules is a solo right now. So we're really excited about that. But that was at Wyatt's birthday party. I actually had on real roller skates. I know you think rollerblades are better, but you got to roller skate. People got to roller skate. All right, next picture over. That is a cabin that with my fiance's family we go to every summer. It's in Nisswa, Minnesota. And we go right after school got out. So it was great to be there. Literally the week that, we got done with last school year, I was up there and it was just beautiful. That's our cabin right there. That's a picture right off the deck of our cabin that we rent at a lodge. And it's just such a great way to end the school year and kind of have some downtime. I didn't take my computer. I didn't do anything. It was really a great time. The picture next door, that's my back and my fiance's back, and that is Beckett there. We were at the Franconia Sculpture Park up near Chisago. I don't know exactly which town it's in, but they've got all like the sculpture art. It was really fun. Just took him there, and he wanted to be swung as he walked, so that was super fun. All right, the next one down, that is me and my best buddy Wilkie, who I'll talk more about in a little bit, and our friend Sarah McCarthy, who's an educator in Florida. I do a podcast with my guy Wilkie as a part of our nonprofit, which is called Lighthouse Educator Development. So we do some professional development. We do some after-school student programs, and we do a podcast that's called Value Adds Value. which I'm super pumped about. That was just a picture from That's What We Did. I think we recorded something like 20 episodes this summer. So it's been great. Next picture over is a kettlebell and a medicine ball. So I really love to work out. I've been trying to do the best I can here at home, trying to save money, not going back to the gym, trying to stay safe. So it's been fun. So I've just got a few things in our garage, and at some point I'll move in the winter into the house, because I don't know, our garage isn't insulated, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to work out there in the winter. But next one over, that was just one of the many meals we cooked. Brittany and I are big fans of cooking dinner every night, so that was a meal. We made ribs with coleslaw and cornbread, which was delicious. One of my favorite ones we had all year, so that was great. I did 4 separate presentations over the course of the summer. This one was at the Teach with Tech conference, talking about Nearpod and Google Slides, which is something I'll talk with you about next week, Nearpod and Google Classroom. So we'll get into that. And we just moved into, I shouldn't say we just moved into a house. We moved into a house at the end of March. So a lot of my summer has been doing household projects. We put up a couple new ceiling fans. We've done a ton of landscaping work. Kind of all that stuff is what we've been up to. But that's mainly what we've been up to. Also just, spending some time with family, playing a little golf, just trying to have a little bit of a normal life while staying 6 feet apart and wearing a mask and all of that other stuff that we do. So that's what I've been up to. All right, so here's a slide about some important people. I cover up the word some because I'm kind of here. All right, now I got myself over. Some important people. Top left, starting out, that's my fiance, Brittany. We've been together a little over 2 years now. We are getting married in November, crossing our fingers that we're getting married in November. It has been a difficult time, trying to decide whether we should postpone or have the wedding while wearing masks and doing social distancing and all those things. So we're going to try to do it just a small gathering as best we can, because we just don't want to wait another year and have the hope that things will be different when maybe they won't be. So that's what we're doing. 2 little girls. On the left is Merritt. As I said, she's about to be a year old, and Jules just turned a year old. Next picture over, that's me and Beckett, who just turned 5. He just started 4K at home, which I had a nice conversation with him this morning. He was telling me about his school, and they were doing the weather. The next one over is Wyatt. He's 3. That was at his roller skating party. Bottom left, that's my guy Wilkie, my best buddy, my best man. He and I worked together during my time in Houston, which I'll talk a little bit more about here in a second. And that is my family right there on the bottom right. Obviously, that's me all the way to the left. That's my dad. Right there next to me, my mom, my younger sister, Jody, her husband, Taylor, my older sister, Lindsay. That's little Wyatt, little Beckett, and my brother-in-law, Jack. So those are all the people in my life currently. Oh yeah, I got it. Got the transition. That was perfect. I'm still, kind of learning some of this technology stuff. So a little bit about my background. So my background, I grew up in Cumberland, Wisconsin, which is about an hour and a half from the Twin Cities over in Wisconsin. I, in high school, was a cross country runner. I played basketball. I was in the band, and I also played golf. I went to Winona State University, which is the middle picture. That was my picture freshman year for the golf team. I played 3 years of college golf at Winona State before I really decided to focus on my studies. I got a degree from Winona in social studies and history education. That gives me the ability to teach 6th through 12th grade social studies. So I can teach history, history, geography, psychology, sociology, economics, and political science. So those are the classes I can teach. And then all the way over to the right, I spent 7 years teaching in Aldine, which is a school district in Houston, Texas. That is my mentor. Her name is Christy Van Wassenhoef. She taught with me, and then she was my principal for 3 years, along with Wilkie. She is the principal who paired Wilkie and I together and created that huge relationship. So that's a little bit about my background, but I've been back in the Midwest 3 years now, and I'm loving this. Is going to be my second year at SHPA. All right. Okay, so it's a stressful time. I am hoping that I can get this to work. so that the audio plays on the recording. So let's check it out and see. We're gonna have to see how it goes here. So this.
Okay, we got an notification from Alexa that a package had arrived. So I said, Alexa, what's my notification? And she goes, what's your notification? For Kyle, shipment has arrived. Hair care product. What do you want to have in here? So, I guess you had to be there, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, so that's my fiance. One day this summer, I'm down here in the office trying to do my work, and she came down. It took her like 5 minutes to tell that story of how she ordered hair care products on my Amazon. And because it was my Amazon, it said that they were for me, but they were actually for her because I don't have any hair. So I'm glad everybody could get a good laugh at my expense. So all right, a few things that are really important to me when it comes to this school year. The first one is discourse. And I know conversation is important. I know Socratics are important. I know all that stuff is important for us, but we really want to make sure that we understand what discourse is, because it's not just a conversation, it's how you approach it. So let's watch this next video here.
A formal and orderly, usually extended expression on a subject. So what that says is I'm going to go in depth about a subject. So in order to build a relationship, relationships are built up on how much you allow someone to get to know you, how much you get to know someone. And the only way we can do that is by communicating. That is the discourse itself. And people can say, okay, it's just a conversation. Absolutely. But in academia, we call it discourse. We call it discourse. We want to make sure in our classroom, we want to make sure our kids are having discourse because that cements their learning. And so in our personal life, we want to make sure we're having discourse, because if you're not talking to your spouse or your friend and y'all are not communicating and you're not having those conversations, then it begins to get fractured and fall apart.
So that's just a clip. I like to use these clips from our podcast and just different things to talk with you because it's important points. And this year, above all years, with everything that's going on, with everything has happened, from George Floyd to Jacob Blake to Breonna Taylor to the protests to COVID, we're gonna have conversations. And you live in a world that tells you the louder you shout, the more likely you are to be heard, and the more likely you are that you're right. But for us, discourse is structured. It's having conversations on a topic in a way that's respectful to everyone involved. It's you know what to do. You've done Socratics. You've done Socratic seminars your entire time at this school. But really, we want to make the way that we converse in the Socratic the way we converse every day. That's a big part of what this class is going to be. And that's a big part of what I believe is important for you this year, especially, and not just for this year, but for you to take forward in your life, is being able to have a conversation with somebody. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the importance of this, or I'm going to let Wilkie talk because I just feel like it's great for you to see. So here's another short video that was a part of this same conversation that we had, talking about why we need to have tough conversations.
There are 3 topics that you don't discuss with people, with your friends. You don't talk finances, you don't talk politics, and you don't talk about race. You're not supposed to talk about those things. I believe that the reason that we're in the place we're in is because nobody wants to talk about those. And it's not so much that people don't want to talk about them, they don't want to hear the other side. Because one of the things about discourse is, when you look back, and I go back to the word, the etymology of the word, it's a to and fro. That's when you go back to the root, they say that the word comes from the Latin word, which means basically reasoning. And it's this idea of going to and fro, or to take something apart. So when you're taking things apart in discourse, when you're thinking about that as it relates to having a conversation, I'm going to sit and listen to everything you say, but you also have to be willing to sit and listen to what I have to say. You have to be willing to listen to my stance on your stance, and I have to listen to your stance on my stance. And again, does that mean that we have to get to where there's a winner or a loser? No, I'm 100% on board with Simon Sinek to say that we're not in this finite game.
Mm.
We're not in this game to say, you're a loser, Kyle, because I won this argument and I won. We're in the infinite game to say that this relationship that we have through our discourse is going to get stronger because we talk this out. I understand where you stand. I know where your point of view is coming from. And even if I don't fully accept your point of view, I at least know where your footing is. And so it teaches me how to operate as it relates to you and I.
Mm.
If I know saying certain words bother my wife, then guess what? I'm not going to say certain words around my wife.
Right. And to clarify that point, Simon Sinek, the author, his most recent book is called The Infinite Game, in which he talks about finite games which have a score. There has to be a winner and a loser, and infinite games where the whole point is just to keep the game going. And if you think about the game as, and he references education a ton, like there's not a winner and a loser. It's just, can you perpetuate the game? Can you continue to um, advance the game and continue to make it better? And I loved what you said there about listening. How often do you feel like you run into someone or you hear of people that say, I don't want to talk about religion, race, finances, politics, because the other side isn't willing to listen to what I have to say?
A lot. Because again, most people want to talk, they don't want to listen. And most of the people who refuse to listen to someone else because they feel like someone else don't want to listen, I believe that's a projector. And I think
What do you mean by a projector? Because I want to make sure everybody listening is clarified, because I understand what you're saying, but
I think they're projecting the fact that they really don't want to listen and saying, I just won't talk because they're not going to listen to me. So, but what you're really saying is you don't want to involve in the conversation because you don't want to listen to them. And again, I've been involved in some crazy conversations with some people from all over the world. Even with our podcast, don't necessarily say I share the views with every single person we've ever interviewed, but I at least listen, and I can see my growth that has taken place in just the ability of me to listen and to gain perspective of someone else. All too often when we're engaging in conversation, what we're really telling someone when I want to talk is, I want you to listen to me. But conversation is a dialogue, not a monologue. The moment conversations become a monologue, then the relationships break down.
And I love that. I love what Wilkie is saying there about the projector. That point of, we hear a lot of people say they're not willing to listen to the other side because they don't feel listened to. Man, it's powerful. So we have to really be mindful that we're not projecting our feelings onto others, our biases. And that's something we're going to have to talk a lot about. We're all biased in some way on every issue. But the more we acknowledge our bias and understand that everybody has one, we can have a conversation where we can be more objective. We can look at facts. We can talk about things that are important in a way that we don't have to take what someone says personally. That's really, really important for us this year. So we got one more. Just this last little point that Wilkie made in another conversation that I think is really good. He talks about how about how people need to work together, and he references a bird. So I just want to show you this last clip. We're almost done for today. I really appreciate your attention, but let's just check out this last one.
I don't need you to try to sway me one way or the next. I told you, but we talk about all the time. We need to get away this idea of left wing, right wing, because again, if you're the left wing and the right wing of the same bird, if one doesn't work, the bird doesn't fly. Let's talk. It takes full cooperation from both sides. So it's not about left or right, it's about right or wrong. Will you starve because you don't want to cooperate? Will you starve others because you don't want to cooperate? So stop lefting and stop righting and start righting and wronging.
I love that. I love that so much. And I want you to know you're gonna see a lot of Wilkie, just because he's such an influence on me, and I've had so many conversations with him about this stuff in preparation for this year to try to serve you the best that I can. But this point he makes about righting and wronging is super important. We have to really focus on the things that are right, the things that we can do for other people, the way we can serve, the way we can help. And that reference of a bird is so important, because if you have a bird that has one broken wing, they're not going to fly, they're just going to fall. And that's a lot of the way we feel about our current political system, is there's no working together. And maybe we can't totally change our political system right now, but we can do our part within our classroom system to be that bird that flies, because we do have different opinions, because we have different experiences. My experience is different from yours, which is different from the next kid, which is different from the next kid. But we can bring all those opinions together to be successful, to talk about things that are important, to learn the way where we come from, and to understand how we are now a global community. That's what global studies is, studying the global community that we have. And I can't wait to do this with you. Whether we're in person at some point, whether we're online the whole time, whether it's hybrid, I'm so pumped to be here and to do this work with you. So, last thing. All right, to get to know me better, what I want you to do is, if you have general questions for me, anything you want to know, leave them in the comments below this video. And by the end of the day or early tomorrow, I'm going to put up a video just answering some of the questions. What I want to do is do a video at the end of the day, a 3 o'clock, 3:30 video, just taking in my thoughts for the day and kind of summing things up. And I think I'm going to put a lot of that on my YouTube channel. We'll talk about the YouTube and all that stuff later. But so you can continue to get to know me. What I want you to do is, if you got questions about anything, whatever you want to know, whatever you want to do, leave them in here. I will answer as many of them as I can. And if there's a few good ones, I'll make a quick video and just answer those. But like I said, I can't tell you how honored I am to be a part of this, to be in community with you, to do this work with you, and to join you on this journey. It is, I know it's not the year you envisioned your 8th grade year to be, but I promise you we can make it the best year ever, and a year that will remember for how great it was, for how we worked together, how we overcame all of these things, and how we put ourselves and our community on a different and better trajectory. So I love all y'all. I can't wait to be a part of this with you. Please reach out with questions, leave a comment in here, and we'll talk soon. Talk to you tomorrow.